Welcome back, everybody. So, pickups time again, and it, as the title suggests, this is kind of an unexpected pickup, or at least one of them are, because obviously I'm talking about the Switch 2. When was it? Last Thursday it came out. It was on my radar, but I wasn't going to get one. I thought, yes, I do want one, but I'm in no rush. I'll get one at some point in the future. So I never ordered one. And then I'd obviously seen that it seemed to be sold out and you couldn't order one anywhere. And people were struggling to sort of, get one. So I just happened to be in town on Thursday last week. And I just thought I'd pop into Smith's just to see what was launched with it. So I walks in the shop, huge stand of Switch 2 stuff, obviously, as you'd expect. And they'd got a fair few things on the shelf. There weren't many games, obviously, I don't know, seemed about half a dozen. And they'd got little out of stock stickers on some things, but not everything. And some of the peripherals had got out of stock on. But all the games hadn't got that, and the consoles hadn't got that either. And then I looked behind the counter, and there were a few consoles, presumably still available. Both the standard bundle and the one with Mario Kart. And kind of took me back a bit by surprise, to be honest. I thought that's quite cool. I wasn't expecting to see them in stock. Anyway, I left. But it was then the old cogs were whirring. Because I thought, like I say, I wasn't going to get one. But then, having the sort of seen them available in the shop, I don't know, it kind of got the juices flowing. Anyway, I left, as I say. And then I went round some of the other, just the general shops. And it was brewing. And I went in game, and they only seemed to have like a custom bundle they'd made up with a Harry Potter game. Wasn't interested in that. So, I just looked and left there. And then I looked on the Argos website, and it was showing one in stock, or showing some in stock, in the town I was in. And so I thought, right, we'll walk to Argos and we'll get it. In that time, from walking from where I was to Argos, I got there, none available, sold out. I thought, bloody hell. Sod's law. Oh well, it wasn't meant to be. I'll think no more of it. Then I looked on the Argos website at all the other local stores, and they were all showing no stock. I think the nearest one was South Birmingham somewhere. I don't want that much. I woke up in the morning not thinking I was buying one at all. And a bit later on in the day, I checked the Argos website again, and then it was showing some stores had got them more local than this Birmingham one. And it suddenly dawned on me, I bet the website's crashing with all the sort of activity on it around the Switch 2. So I kept checking and checking, and eventually I managed to get one in the Argos that was closest, not in the town I was in, the one that was closest to home. And so I eventually ended up buying it online and then collecting it later in the day from the most local Argos of all. So anyway, as you were fully aware, I've got a Switch 2, and I wanted the Mario Kart pack. It's not a physical game, which is a real annoyance, but when the sort of Solace pack is 400 quid and the one with Mario Kart is 430 quid, I think it was, and the game itself is 75 quid, you know, it's £45 for a plastic box. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? So I had to buy the Mario Kart bundle. Hopefully, like Stu, I'll pick it up, you know, the physical game at some point in the future when it's much cheaper. But for now, you know, I've got it, and obviously it's a download code. Unfortunately, it's not even pre-installed on the system, so you've got to download it, which is obviously a big thing with the Switch 2. A lot of the games seem to be just keys on the cards and you're downloading them anyway, so it raises that debate. Do you just go digital on Switch 2? It's kind of crossed my mind whether I should just do that. I haven't got any space to store stuff anyway. I know the boxes aren't very good, very, very big anyway. I don't know, but it's a possibility. That said, I've pre-ordered Donkey Kong, so that'll be a physical game, so I'll probably will buy them physical. But anything that's like a key on the card, I think I'll just buy them digital. Can't see the point in having an empty box. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the system, I've got to say, after all this waffling about for 5 minutes. I think it's really, really good. It's a lot bigger than the original Switch. I've only got the original launch one. I never upgraded to an OLED. So I've gone from like the standard regular Switch to this Switch 2, and the screen size is dramatically bigger. Obviously the controls are bigger, so they feel a bit better. I mean, it's still not a fantastic thing to hold in my opinion. I have ordered some kind of grip with added sort of side bits to help you grip the console in handheld form, but that hasn't come yet. But I mean, I don't really use it handheld if I'm honest, so it's largely irrelevant. But the screen is really nice on the handheld, I would say. Though again, I'm comparing it to the original. I haven't got the OLED to compare it to, which I think is supposedly better, isn't it? But anyway, it's fantastic as it is on the Switch 2 in my opinion. Great picture. I didn't personally own a 4K TV, so I've gone down the same route as Stu, in that I bought another screen, but I bought a monitor because they come up smaller than general TV. I haven't got space for a 4K TV now. I didn't want to get rid of my big TV because it's 3D. So really a monitor is my only option, and I'm really pleased with it. Fantastic picture quality on it, I've got to say. Looks really, really nice. Mario Kart is fantastic, I've got to say. It looks and sounds absolutely beautiful. Plays great. There's loads of karts on screen at the same time, you know, a large grid. Loads of characters to choose from. You open up bonus characters, obviously, bonus karts. It's really, really good. I really like the knockout mode they've put in it, which is kind of, it's like traditional Mario Kart, but there can be longer races, and it works on the same principle as some of the outrun bonus stages which you do to unlock stuff, where you've got to be sort of whatever 10th at the first checkpoint, 8th at the second, 6th, and so on till you get to the end. Really, really enjoying that mode. Obviously you've got your standard 50, 100, 150cc. I'm assuming 200 opens up when you get that far. I'm personally only on I've only played this up to 100cc so far, but it's fantastic. I put up a couple of shorts on it. Some of the courses are just mind-blowing. They're beautiful worlds. The Bowser's castle and the Bowser's ship levels are really good. There's a fantastic Donkey Kong level. It's kind of that 3D-fied, if you like, the original Donkey Kong with the barrels rolling down the platforms. Absolutely stunning. There's a beautiful ice cream level. I think it looks so nice. It's just what a game should be, and I think I put that on the title of the short. It's so bright and colourful, and there's a lot of pink, which is great. But honestly, it looks so nice. really, really good. You can see way into the distance on the tracks. Absolutely brilliant. What I wasn't expecting was there are some sections within some of the courses where it's on water, and it's almost like it's wave race. It's kind of wave racing theme, and there's some lovely water effects just like the original wave race. So although, you know, we still want a new wave race, please Nintendo, it's a little glimpse of what it could be in a way, because you've got these couple of levels, like I say, based on water, where your cart turns into like a jet bike type thing. Oh, and it's really, really good. It just shows you how good wave race could be. That keeps going off. I'm touching waking the controller up to get it to come back. It's not a fault, if you were wondering. Anyway, brilliant. There seems to be a lot of negativity towards the Switch 2, but it's exactly what I was expecting. It's the Switch, but slightly better, really, in terms of screens a bit bigger, a bit nicer. Obviously, games are now like 4K. It's just what I wanted it to be honest. It's all I need from it. And I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong. But that said, I'm really enjoying this. And I've downloaded a couple of games as well, which I'll come on to in a different video. However, that surprise pickup aside, we'll now just run through the existing sort of pickups that were here. We've got one Evercade title, not going to dwell on it. I know people think it's rubbish. I don't, personally. I think it's magnificent. And we've picked up Atari Arcade 2. These arcade carts are my favourite. Absolutely love them. Got a full set of them. There's some really good stuff on here. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but just in case you're interested, Berserk and Frenzy are on here. Both fantastic games. There's also Lost Tomb, Minefield, Moon War, Rescue, which is really, really good, though it's difficult. Tasmania, which is not the Tasmania you might think it is. Fire Truck is a really early game, black and white, and I really quite like it, but it's so difficult. Dark Planet and Maze Invaders, so cracking to have that. Then ages and ages ago I bought this, and I'm sure it was Stu, possibly Tutu, who picked somebody picked it up anyway for the PS1, and it's this Atari Anniversary Collection, which is basically a load of old Atari games, which are bang up my street these days. Fantastic collection this is. I don't think it was much money either, probably because not many people want to play this old rubbish. But you've got Asteroids Deluxe, Battlezone, Black Widow, fantastic game, Centipede, Gravitar, Missile Command, great, Pong, Space Duel, Super Breakout, Tempest, magnificent, and Warlords. So a great collection of genuine sort of old Atari arcade games. Next up, I don't know what sent me down this rabbit hole. I think actually my legs have gone to sleep. I think it was when I got Outrun 2 for the PC. It got me looking at Sega PC games, and I ended up buying Sega Rally for the Sega PC label. Now obviously this is seriously old in terms of PC, so there was no way this was going to work on my sort of current computer. I dug out all my old laptops and I finally got it working on one of them, though it was not running well. But it was nice to be able to say I actually played it, and it does look quite nice, to be honest. It's quite a nice little subset, this Sega PC stuff. That lovely beautiful artwork on the boxes, but they're not cheap and not very common. Like I say, you can get this Sega Rally, Daytona, Virtua Fighter. They do look nice, as you can see. I mean, it's a beautiful box, but it's a bit foolhardy really. But it was nice to actually be able to play that up to a point. Right, going back to the Switch, I've got 3 Switch pickups. The first one of which is sealed, I haven't played it yet, and that's Lunar Lander Beyond. Obviously another old school Atari arcade game. This one's obviously been modified. Really difficult, the original Lunar Lander. So I'm not sure what to expect from this, but it was. I think it's about a tenner, brand new. So I thought well worth a try. Then a bit more expensive, but as soon as this was available digital before it came physical, and I never bought it digital. Then when it did get released physical, sorry, I waited a few weeks and it eventually came down in price. Around 20 quid I think it was. But as you can see, it's the Llamasoft collection. Now this is another one of these, like Atari 50, the Cowabunga collection, and that upcoming Mortal Kombat one, which should be awesome because they're all excellent packages. Because it's one of these that's tied up with like history about the brand, in this case Jeff Minter and Llamasoft, some sort of old videos, retrospective videos, all history about Jeff Minter, and crucially loads of his early games, which this is full of, and most of which I've never played. So obviously got Attack of the Mutant Camels off the 64, but there's loads of other stuff on here. 42 games, I've not tried them all. Grid Runner is another one of the big ones, I haven't tried that yet. But Attack of the Mutant Camels and Tempest 2000 crucially is on here. Not that I needed them particularly, but it's nice to have them all in this one package, and it's great to, you know, have all the history, just like the other collections these people have done. Who is it? Clear River Games, isn't it, I think? So fantastic collection of stuff on there. Jeff Minter makes such good games. Like Alex mentioned in his last video, iRobot. What a game that is. If you've not sort of downloaded it and you think on the fence, absolutely stunning game. It's on all the consoles, Switch, PS4, 5 I assume. I've got it on my Switch personally. What a stunning game. It's so unique. It looks magnificent. The visuals are so bright, it's really trippy. It's like Tempest on acid, really. What a game. Anyway, the last Switch pickup I've got, and this was thanks to Champion 2D Rob, months and months ago. He sent a link to this because I'd missed out the initial sort of run again in this. And we've got Iron Meat. This is from one of the Video Games Plus Canada, I think it's come from. But it's in an absolutely beautiful steel tin. Excuse the glare. I've not tried this yet. As you can see, it's just a regular game inside this like metal tin slipcase. But like I say, it's still sealed. It's like a run and gun, if you didn't know. But it looks fantastic. And it comes with a code for a download to the soundtrack, I believe, and also a little postcard and a bag. So yeah, at some point I'm going to get round to playing that because it looks fantastic. I think it might have been Dylan who first showed that. Could be 12 months ago now, I can't remember. Right, last few pickups for this video. As I mentioned previously in one of the other videos, I decided to get another PSP, which started by me wanting to play Outrun 2 handheld. Should have kept one, or should have kept the one I had. I think this is the third or fourth, possibly, I think it's the third time I've started a PSP collection. The first, obviously my original one, then I rebought one X amount of years ago, worked up to a decent collection, I think, all the games I wanted anyway, but then sold it a couple of years ago, and then, like I say, I've decided to buy another one. So got myself a console. Never had a pink one before. Got this off Jace at Retro Games. So yes, I've since bought another one for reasons I'm not going to go into here, but I've ended up with two of them anyway. It's such a great console, the PSP. I shouldn't have sold it, and I've sort of looked into it more in depth this time than I ever have before, and the library is massive, and there are some really interesting looking games, so I think I'm going to be buying quite a few PSP games if I'm honest. However, the first one I got, I think I bought these first couple before I'd even got the console. I just found them in local CEXs and I'd started buying them when I knew I was going to get another one. And these are ones I've had before, but again, the PSP is fantastic for these retro collections. So the first one we've got here is the Namco Museum Collection, and I think there's 20 games on here. Obviously what you'd expect from Namco, Dig Dug, you know, all that kind of stuff. But then you've got 4 arranged ones, as you can see, which the highlight on the front, which have been sort of enhanced, modernised versions of Dig Dug, Pac-Man, Gallagher and Rally X. But then all the others are like the standard regular versions from the 80s. Fantastic collection. Now this one, I did have this before, but it was before I got into the 2600, so I never really bothered with it. The Activision Hits Remixed Collection, which is similar to the PS2 game, is it, I think? What a collection of games this is. I mean, the Activision games on the 2600 are some of the best anyway, so to have them all in one place on the PSP, this collection is stunning, I've got to say. But you know, you've got stuff like Frostbite, River Raid, Pitfall, you know, more or less every Activision game on the 2600 is brilliant. All I've really played on here so far is Beam Rider. I'd never played that before when I had it. Fantastic game. Worth owning for Beam Rider alone. Stunning collection. Now this was cheap in CEX, like I say. Gottlieb Pinball Classics. I'm not a pinball guy, to be honest. I don't mind a quick blast on them, and that's all I've bought this for. There's a few tables. It looks quite nice, to be honest. You turn the PSP round, if I remember rightly, and use it in Tarte mode. Works quite well. Nice little game. And then an absolute stone cold classic. It's brilliant on anything. Had to get it back, and it's like £1 in CEX, I think. Virtua Tennis. Brilliant game. Probably, along with Super Tennis, I would say it's the best tennis game ever made. So, had to get that. And then another one I had to get. I'm sure I got this off Jace when I got the console, because I particularly wanted the American version, because this is what I had when I first had my console back in the day. I had the American console with Ridge Racer and Hot Shots Golf. So I was particularly keen to get the original games that I had back, hence why I wanted the American version, hence why Jace had got one in and I bought it. What an amazing game this is. I've never, you know, there's no bad Ridge Racer games really, except maybe Unbound, like I said in that other video. But I've got to say, and it was Pete Snestastic who put me onto that, or this, was the fact, with the headphones into the PSP, this sounds incredible. And I've got to agree with Pete, it really does. I've never really bothered, whenever I've used the PSP in the past, I've never used the headphones. It is a bit of a game changer, I've got to say. The games feel much more immersive, and this in particular, so good. So I'm going to be giving this some stick, because I haven't really played that for, when did the PSP come out? 20 years ago, something like that. Anyway, we'll leave it there. That's really annoying how fast that keeps going off. But yeah, let me know what you think about any of that lot. Leave us a comment, that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching. See you soon, all being well.